What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into a special Network 216 exclusive here on 216 Day, is what we love to call it here. It is President's Day here in Cleveland. And I, myself, as owner and creator here of Network 216 now and taking over, I just want to introduce you, everybody, to the people here behind the scenes at 216, all the shows, when they go live, and why they do what they're doing here with these shows. So, let's first off start out, and I see private chat already. Who's in the private chat? Okay, hostile takeover. Here we go. Now we're just. I love this team. This team is so fun. Let's start out with Game Time 216 in the Man Cave. Got both these guys here. Let me bring in Bobby G and Big Mike. Let me get it. I have to scroll now because there's so many people in the background. I have to scroll. This is some BS. All right, what's going on, fellas? Hey, first off, thank you guys joining us for the 216 Day. You guys are Game Time 216. You guys go every Monday and Wednesday at 216. And Mike, you go Off the Rails. And God, what was the other one? Off the Rails and Sports Madness. And you do that during the day, I believe, don't you?
Yeah, 12:30 on Tuesdays and 1:30 on Thursdays.
Okay. So, guys, first off, I want to thank you guys. You guys are newer to the net. Well, Mike isn't. Mike's been around for a while, but Bobby, you're newer to the network.
Yeah.
Let them know about Game Time 216 and what you guys do. And Mike, also let them know what you do for Off the Rails and everything that you guys do.
All right.
Game Time 216, just like it says, man, it's a Cleveland-based sports show, all Cleveland sports all day. The brainchild of boredom. My podcast journey started with my best friend, and we created a podcast, and he passed away, unfortunately. And so I had to figure out what was my next move. And it was like, I didn't want to continue what we had started together. So I started brainstorming on what could I do on my own. I figured, hey, I love sports. I love Cleveland. Why not talk about both? And so it became that. And then, real life hit in. So I had to put it to the back burner. Came up with another idea, actually. And then one day, once I got that situated, I was like, you know what? I want to get back to talking about Cleveland sports. And I had actually met Mike through another podcast community started by Dan Harris, the Let's Talk Sports community. And he was a Cleveland sports fan. And one day I was a guest on off the Rails. And I let him know in chat. I was like, you know what, I'm thinking about doing Game Time again. And he was like, well, let me know if you do that. And so we were able to work out the schedule. Everything worked out. It was like, hey man, come on board. And we've been rocking ever since. Been back when we start, like August.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, about like right at the beginning of this football season. And hey man, it's going strong. Got connected with you guys at Network 216, and it's been a great partnership ever since, man. I'm glad, and I just hope we can continue to provide, content, commentary that's the audience responds to.
I remember when I got the message from Mike. Mike texted me and goes, "Hey, I got this guy. I got this guy. We're starting this Game Time 216." He goes, "Be perfect for you guys in the network." He goes, "Let me get you hooked up with him." I'm like, "Hey, let's do it. Like, let's have some fun." So, but I can't thank you enough for joining us, especially in the chats that most people don't know. We have so much fun. All of us kind of talking shit to each other of the whole Monken, not enough Monken, and everybody has their own personal takes on everything. Like, I've been on your guys' show in Game Time 216. We had an argument about Andrew Berry, which I love.
Yeah.
So everybody's kind of loving everybody. Mike, why don't you tell them about the stuff that you're doing too?
Well, I do a Sports Madness and Off the Rails. I do with Jay and Scully. We talk everything, anything, and nothing. Like, it's just everything a big ball. I'm the dude that goes off the rails, really. On any show I'm on, I'm the guy. I'll be cussing and telling people all sorts of shit, say all sorts of crazy shit, and Bobby hits the button. Bam! It's all the time. Like, that's just what it is. But I like to be lively, and that's just how it works. We talk Sports Madness. It's usually, Browns, Bengals. Scully's an Eagles fan, so we talk a lot of that. But we get in depth with a lot of things, go through it all, after football season, it kind of slows down, but I'm going to keep that going. Tomorrow got Slosh coming on, do some mock drafts, talk some free agent stuff, off the rails. Again, that's anything, sports related, whatever's going on in life. Because, sometimes it's just about life. You got to get it out, got to air it. Once you talk about it, you feel better about it. Then you can get back to living it correctly. But that's just how it works. And being part of Network 216 has been great. And I love being a part of it. Thank you, Jared. Thank everybody that brought us in and allowed us to be here. And again, continue to hype this up. And Monken wasn't my choice. He just I felt like the change was happening. Why not go young and let's start fresh? But now let's go old and stale and see where we go with it. And here we are. But we got a year. We're going to see what happens.
I got you, brother. All right, so hey, let them know where to find you, what times to find you guys, because we are putting a schedule out on our @Network 216 Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff. We will have the lineups for you. I know you guys go on Monday and Wednesdays, and then Off the Rails goes when they go. So let everybody know where to find you, all of your handles, and what time they can find you.
Game Time 216, like I said, Mondays and Wednesdays at 2:16 Eastern. It's a unique time, so we're trying to work everybody on as guests. I know y'all have lives. I'm fortunate I get to pod all day, so whenever anybody's got the time, hit us up. We'll get you on. And occasionally, if the game is important enough, we will live stream during the game. So that's what we got going on.
Sports Madness 12:30 2:30 Eastern on Tuesday, and then Thursday Off the Rails 1:30 to 2:30. Again, talking anything, everything, and nothing. And we're glad we'll have anybody on those shows too, just talking about it all. We like to get the interaction, especially me, because I get to talk shit to everybody. That's great.
All right, boys. Hey, guys, thank you guys so much. I appreciate everything you guys do. You know that. I'll see you guys in the chats. Enjoy your evening this evening, and go 216.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Peace.
All right, so there they are, Big Mike and Bobby G, two great guys. And, man, I can't thank you guys enough. Bobby, you're still on here. I'm getting you moved. Thank you. Two great guys. I can't thank them enough for everything they do for us, especially Game Time 216. You want to hear some hard stuff and some fun stuff, go check them out. Takes are amazing. I love them. They've been truly amazing to us. And like I said, the timing of the 2:16 p.m. cannot be perfect enough for 216 and 216 day. So I have to give a little bit of time. Okay. Which is okay. So we're going to give a little bit of time for our next show, but I'm going to bring in the two knuckleheads that have been behind the scenes and helping out tremendously with graphic arts, with everything else. One of them is the host of the Rust Belt Rivalry podcast, also co-host of the 216 pregame, and helping me out on the Lake Effect Lounge. His name is Brian Philos. Brian, thank you so much, bud. What's going on, brother?
Woo! Not much, baby. Just celebrating 216 Day with the boys over here. Right? Wish we were in person. This feels like COVID.
I know. We have to get a 216 Day where all of us are together and just see what kind of shenanigans happens, because I think it would be it'd definitely be kind of interesting. But it's kind of hard with Bobby being out in Vegas. Even though, hey, maybe we can just go out to Vegas next 216 Day and just crash at his place. I see Mike nodding his head back there. I think he'll be fine with it, right?
Hey, as long as it's not July, baby. Last time I went there was July. I don't like walking on that bare feet on that 150-degree cement, okay?
I don't know why you're outside. You're supposed to be in the casinos doing stuff.
What, isn't half the reason to go to Vegas to drink by the pool, right?
If that's what you want to do, I'd drink inside. They have indoor pools, buddy. I've seen them. I've been at them.
Talk about off the rails, damn.
Jeez.
Pull the train back on the tracks.
All right, let's bring in the next guy who's been doing our graphic arts for all the shows. You see his cartoons, everything else. He's making us crack up a lot. Slosh Sports, also the factory of mock drafts. Let's bring him in, Matty Lewis. What's going on, Matt?
What's up, gentlemen?
But thank you guys for joining us on the 216 day. I can't thank you guys enough. Brian, you've been helping out behind the scenes with a whole bunch of stuff, kind of like the COO to my CEO, and appreciate it. And Matt, the things that you're doing with your graphic arts and everything else for the show, like our new logo that has just aired. We have a new banner that is out now. There is going to be cartoons coming out, which quite are funny because most of the time they are me and Brian arguing. So it is quite fun with that one. Thanks, Mike. I see it. I got you. All right. So, gentlemen, let them know where they can find you and all the shows that you guys are a part of. Brian, why don't you go first?
All right. So you already mentioned Rust Belt Rivalry. That's me and a Bengals fan. He's not here today, but we kind of cover the entire state of Ohio for NFL. That's, I think, Wednesday nights, 8:30 during the NFL season. Other than that, obviously, you just mentioned we've got the Lake Effect Lounge Friday nights. So far, it's been the off season every other week Fridays, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then me and Matt are doing a factory of mock drafts. We've had a couple pretty cool guests from outside the network come in and join us that have been very knowledgeable and know way more about it than I do. So have a listen to those if you want. And other than that, you can catch me, Twitter, TikTok. That's where I kind of started everything, where Patty found me. So, Matt, what else you got cooking, bud?
Well, I kind of happened upon you guys. I was sitting at work one day and said, "Oh my God, that's the bar across the street from work that I go to every day." You guys were doing the pregame show at 3 Spot there in North Royalton. So I reached out to Brian here about doing the show there. And then next thing I know, 2 weeks later, I was on a podcast with him. I started Slosh Sports Talk back in September, I believe it was. It was the last week of September. And me and my buddies were rather inebriated in the garage. And I followed Brian since my personal page on TikTok. And I was watching one of his pages and I was like, looked at my buddy and I'm like, I think we could do this. We got this. And I am at the point now where I'm averaging about 1 million views a month on Sloshed. It's going good. Obviously, Fatty already mentioned my graphic arts skills, creating all these stuff for the network, my own page. That's what I get for my parents paying for 4 IT degrees there. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Didn't think they would amount to this. Probably would expect me to have a little better job, but whatever. This is funner. But I am on all social medias, Slosh Sports Talk. The only one that's different is Twitter because somebody took that. Twitter is Sloshed HQ. And I am real big into the mock draft, all Cleveland sports, Buckeyes. I stick with NFL is my main thing, but I'm getting ramped up into everything.
Need to get graphic of Justin on the bike. That would be awesome. I would love to see Justin on the bike, which is running ball man.
Or so. Justin reading a child's book.
Send me a picture. I'll have it to you by the end of the night.
Not a problem. I got you all day. Got you all day. All right, gentlemen, thank you guys so much for what you guys do for 216. I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, we have our next coming up here. Let me boot you guys out. I got to boot you out. It's easy to boot you guys out when you're on the top level. When you're on the bottom level, that's when it gets really interesting. But next up, I got to bring on our boys who do Guardians coverage for us here at Network 216, and can't thank them enough for joining us. Let me click on Brian first because he's down at the bottom, and then I'll scroll up to Mike. Let me scroll up to Mike. There we go. It's not a big scroll, but it's a scroll. These are the MLB Guardcast with Brian Shaw and Mike Voorhees. They do all the coverage of the Guardians throughout the baseball season. They did, what was it, about 3 weeks ago? You guys had Rosie on, had a great interview with Rosie. You guys would probably be ramping up here as spring training gets started. So, gentlemen, give them all about MLB Guardscast and what you guys do and why Network 216.
You batting lead off, Brian, or you want me to go?
Sure. I guess I'll get started. Yeah. Thanks, Jared. We Mike and I have been doing this for a few years now, and it really started where I think we just felt like the Guardians were underserved in Cleveland, and we wanted to hear more talk about the team. The Browns were very, very heavy covered, and we just weren't seeing enough Cleveland Guardians, and so we tried to help fill that space. And me personally, a lot of the things that I try to talk about are things that I'm interested in and topics where I don't find the answers to. So I find them myself, and I feel like, well, other people might be interested in this as we talk about it. So let's put this out to the public and talk about the Guardians and talk about baseball and talk about these topics. So as you said, pitchers and catchers have reported. We are going to be hitting up spring training here soon. We had Jim Rosenhaus on as a little bit of an off-season preview to talk about, unfortunately, a lot of what the Guardians didn't do this offseason and why that is, and what this team will be. MLB is in an interesting spot overall, and we're going to be talking about that kind of as a big picture thing because there's the potential for a lockout. So that has been the off season, and yes, we have been a little bit quiet so far this off season, but things are going to pick up here with spring training, and there's position battles that we're going to be talking about. There's going to be what happens after this season that we're going to be talking about. Who's in the starting rotation, who's playing outfield. All of those things are going to be picking up here real soon.
I love it. I was an Indians fan growing up, loved talking sports, and had the opportunity to start podcasting back in 2018. Worked for a company that shall remain nameless. It was pretty cool. Had Brian on multiple times as a guest. Then the other co-host couldn't continue. So reached out to Brian, and Brian was like, yeah, I'm in. And we've gone through the name change. We've gone through a network change, and we're very excited that Jared, you brought us in to Network 216. Love talking Guards. With baseball, it's a long season. We know it can be tedious. We know it can be boring. We try to make it as fun as possible. A set schedule is something we don't have. You may see us pop up an emergency pod when needed. We try to record, I would say, once every other week, probably once every 10 days, thereabouts.
And that ends up being because, especially when it comes to like July and August, the storylines kind of stay the same. They're not typically all that different. And I know that there's other pods that are daily or weekly, and we don't want to be tedious. We want to give different information and updated information. So that's part of why the schedule is the way it is. In an NFL season, there's a one game a week. And so, there's a game to talk about each week. But when it comes to baseball, given it's a 6-month season, the storylines don't necessarily change weekly.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
And it's a long season for you guys. I get it. Gentlemen, I can't thank you guys enough for joining the network. Like I said, both of you have been on the 216 show. We've had a blast talking sports together. You guys are truly amazing. You guys definitely know your stuff when it comes to Guards ball, and especially lack thereof on some of them, especially when it comes to free agency, because can't do that. I do have to ask you guys one thing before I kick you off of here, because I haven't talked to you guys in a while. This whole thing with Class A, okay, the reason why I'm asking this now is because for me, I want to know. I know it's just a pain in the ass, but contract wise, how does this work contract wise with the Cleveland Guardians? Do you guys know? Like, are they done with the contract, or they still have to pay that contract? Because that's
So-
I don't know.
Hey, Brian?
They haven't said yet. It has been speculated, and it probably will be the case, that they will void those contracts. It hasn't been specifically detailed yet. So Ortiz is rather irrelevant because he made the minimum. He was still in pre-arbitration, which is like 820,000, something like that. So him being off the team, you just have to replace that with another minimum contract. So that's a wash. Class A's, I think, was like 6-ish million for this year. So they would be off the hook for that contract when MLB officially does suspend him for his career. And given the most recent information and the whole indictment and all the rigged pitches and all that, that's very likely going to happen. We had speculated at the beginning of this offseason, okay, well, that will free up some dollars to sign some free agents for this offseason. That's $6 million more dollars that they will be able to sign a bat instead, because you're going to have Cade Smith fill into that closing role. They didn't reallocate that money. So as of right now, it looks like, I think they're about between 15 and 20 million less than they were last season in payroll. But they haven't made an official ruling, but I don't think the Guardians will have to pay Class A anymore. He's going to be banned from baseball is my guess.
Well, we all kind of figured he was being banned from baseball. It was just I was trying to figure out the whole contract thing because I know they still owe him money. I didn't know if it was going to be void, if they still have to pay him this year until everything gets kind of sorted out. That was the kind of big question I had.
It was different last season because it was still under investigation and they did have to pay him through the season. But MLB has told the beat reporters, so that's where this information is coming from, is I'm reading what the beat reporters are saying, that MLB is going to have a conclusion sometime soon on their ruling on how the Guardians have to deal with Class A.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's some verbiage in the contracts where they can just nix it. He violated the terms of his agreement, so they can just cancel it and move on.
Okay. Gentlemen, I can't thank you guys enough also. Love you guys. You know that. We always have a blast talking sports, especially in the group chat. So I can't thank you guys enough for being part of Network 216. I got some graphics I'm going to be throwing up here, guys. Thank you so much. Go enjoy your evening. And can't wait to see you guys back on the network covering Guardians baseball for us this year. And hopefully I can get in there a couple times with you guys and kind of just
whenever you want. Just say something.
Rant about the outfield and the fact that the only people we sign are like 39-year-old relief pitchers, and we can't get So you'll hear me clamoring.
You jump on, Jared. You jump on anytime you want.
Hang on though. I have one thing to say, Jared, real quick. In the chat, you always say you hate the platoon system, right?
I do. I'm sorry. I'm old school baseball. I just think everybody should play. Get them in the slot because then you get in a groove. You're there every day.
What if I told you that the Guardians' current plan basically does what you're asking?
Does that mean we're getting rid of David Fry?
No, because you still need, he's still a lefty specialist, but I'm talking about in terms of the outfield. You're going to have everyday DeLauder, everyday Valera. You don't really have a lefty specialist in outfield. So you may see a very consistent righty lefty lineup outside of David Fry and maybe Austin Hedges.
Thank God.
I understand the frustration, but there is something that you can take away in terms of what you're looking for.
Oh, thank God. I can't wait for this. Instead of seeing a guy come out there and like, oh, we got to switch him. We're switching it up today. Why? Why are we switching up? That guy was on a hot streak. Stop it. Stop messing with stuff. You tinker with stuff too much, it screws up.
Well, there you go.
All right, gentlemen, go enjoy your evenings, guys. Thank you so much. You guys can find them at MLB Guards Cast. It's right, correct?
Yes.
Go find them on Twitter and everything else. And obviously, Brian Shaw, everybody knows Brian Shaw and Mike Voorhees from 330 to go, and all the sports that you guys cover elsewhere. I'm not gonna lie, you guys do cover some other stuff too. So
side hustles, got to make that money, man. Come on.
I understand. Got to. All right, gentlemen, go enjoy your evening, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on 216 show on 216 tonight. Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. We'll see you soon.
See ya. All right, so it is back to me now. I think